fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weep until the final siren's gone, like the tiger of...
Good evening, Tigercast fans. Welcome to Tig Talk Tuesday, the new Tuesday night show where we get Tiger71 on to talk all things Richmond from last week's game and next week's game and whatever else in between. Tiggs, good to have you on, mate.
Thanks for having me on. It's I've been looking forward to this show all week, considering it's coming off the back of a game. So and there was a lot of positives, some negatives, but a lot of positives to draw from that. So yeah, it was great.
Now, it is nice to finally be doing one on the back of a game. I mean, we had the practice games and stuff, but it's always I think round one for us yet again validated how hard it is to gauge anything from those practice games.
Exactly.
Because what we saw in reality in round one, I thought anyway, other people may view it differently, but I thought it was vastly different to what we saw in the practice games in a good way.
100%. Like, I want to give a shout out. I know we're going to get all into it, but Seth Campbell, like, he's a perfect example. In the preseason games, he half-assed it. We picked it out. But in round one, he played to the standard, with his pressure, his chasing. He never let up. He worked the entire game. So, credit to him. So that's why I give no stock into preseason games. So I'm glad it looked like there's a push to just delete them and just everyone starts round 0 or 1 next year without any preseason rubbish. It's better just clubs organise intra-clubs.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Same level of value. Yeah.
Coaches are now starting to speak out a bit more too about the opening round stuff. And you don't want to make excuses, right? But if we have a look at our two games from like round one this year and round one last year, we know Carlton had opening round this year. I think they did last year. I'm not 100% sure.
They did last year as well. Wrong. Yeah, they did.
But in both games, we've had a slow first half and come back well in the second half. I don't know if that's been the trend in other games as well. Like, I haven't really paid close enough attention. But it's getting now interesting that coaches are now mentioning it too as a bit of a factor. I think they just play everyone in the opening round. Play wherever you want. I couldn't give a shit, but just have all teams playing, because the fact that we've got buys now and it just looks messy. The fixture, the ladder, it all looks out of whack. I don't like it.
Oh, yeah, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. I just don't know why they just don't do it from round one and just call it round one and just say, all right, we're going to just extend the season by one extra game, or if they want to do multiple buys, they can do multiple buys. But it was sort of what we did in our review anyway last week. One of our concerns was, we just got to stay with them in the first half, because they have had 4 quarters of decent footy, even though they played really poorly, in their legs. So I think it affects more younger teams than it does more of the established sides that have had multiple pre-seasons. With us, we looked like Carlton and Sydney looked in their first quarter of their game. Our first quarter was the same. We looked like rubbish till we got the tempo of the game. So, yeah.
Yeah. Richie, you might have to refresh me. What bet did Tiggs make on the show last week?
Yeah, no, I lost 100, but I'm not dark about it. It was funny. I don't gamble, but I said to the wife after, because she gave me the look, I told you to lose it. That's why you don't gamble. And I said, you know what? From what I saw, it was worth 100.
Oh, so it was a head-to-head bet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a win for the win. Right. Okay. I have to tell you, I was screaming, effing kick it, kick it for the second half. I nearly lost my voice, but it wasn't because of the cash. It was just because we should have effing kicked it. But
just the passion of the game.
Yeah.
No, it was a little bit like that. VFL, 4 teams have the buy. Yeah, this is getting out of hand now with the bloody buys. But anyway, also we had the game against the Blues. We lost by 4 points, and it's never fun losing. It's never nice losing. I think there's probably a smaller select handful of games this year where you do go into them thinking you're a chance to win, and this was, I think, definitely one of them. Yeah. The club will be no doubt disappointed about the loss, but there was still, being at the ground, the overarching feeling when everyone was leaving is that Richmond supporters were still exiting happier than Carlton supporters, which was really interesting given the 4 points didn't go our way. But what were some of your takes on the game? What were some of the things you liked and didn't like? It was obviously a slow start in the first quarter. It was a bit rubbish. They trounced us well and truly. But it was nice that we arrested it and got the game back on our terms.
Yeah, look, for me, it was a tale of two different halves, right? Funny enough. But the first half, we were shocking. Like, I decided to go back to tweeting during games, right? That's why, just to put it in context, it's live during a game. That's why in the first half, I'm going, all right, we've just got to drop short and we've got to drop, what was his name? Hopper. But the whole entire leadership group, outside of Nick, were giving us nothing. Ross was a non-factor. Short was a non-factor. He did this stupid. I swear, I lost my temper when I was watching it because he's too smart of a player. He's got the kick out. It's the second kick out of the game. The thing he would have been screaming in his head is Adam saying, "Don't give the momentum." What does he decide to do? Just kick it straight up the guts to an out number, and they score a goal directly from it.
I actually didn't mind it because it looked different. The amount of times we just kicked to the pocket, I mean, he probably could have been a little bit safer, but I didn't mind the trying to use the length rather than the 15-meter chip kick that we did 99.9% of the time last year. Does hurt when it turns over, though, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it was just a dumb play. We weren't set up for it. You know, I don't mind that aggressive. I know Geelong does it, but
you're right. You've got to be set up for everyone else has got to know what you're about to do.
Yeah, because so they get their goal, and then I think McKay's the one that got the goal, and I'm just thinking how pathetic that. But what really disappointed me was for 2 quarters where our young kids were keeping us in the game. All of our young kids, I don't think there was one. Steely Green, and people mocking me. Why did you pick him? You shouldn't pick him. And the reason, sometimes when you give a challenge to a young kid with a high upside, you will get that, the spark that you need. And he gave us that in the first quarter. And in the second quarter. So, it was really disappointing. And then the thing that I wanted to see it for the past all last year and this year. And I saw it in glimpses with Adam's coaching and the coaching group, I should say, but I'll just say Adam because he's the head coach, that I haven't seen consistently. But the way he did it, he must have in halftime went to his leadership group and he gave it to him. He must have said, this is not acceptable. We're going outside of our plan. I think they interviewed him before the end of the half, before the start of the third quarter, and he said, no, we're not playing to our system that we've set up for. We've got a plan to beat this mob. If we go back to this plan, we will win, type of feeling. That's what the message he sort of was giving. And they snapped into it. Everyone lifted, like Ross lifted, Short lifted, The leadership group basically started to generate, and then we looked amazing. Our flow, our transition, we complemented the work of the young guys.
It was good. The second half was good. It probably started a little bit in the second quarter, but they were still able to score some goals towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end of the second quarter.
Goals at the start. I think they ended up extending the lead, but it did feel like we were playing better as the quarter went on. But yeah, you're right. After half time, it was very much a similar story to the same game last year. We come out and everything started to work for us, which is good. And the one thing that we didn't talk too much about last night, but it was really good to see Uze animated up in the coaching box.
Yeah.
It sounded really silly, but we hadn't seen that before. It was always a very calm and non-emotive type coaching, whether it was on the bench or in the coaching box last year anyway, it was an educational year. I get it. But to see a bit more emotion, I felt like that there was more internal higher expectations that weren't being met that was causing the frustration. And that's a good, it's not good they weren't being met, but it's good that he was responding and able to pull those levers.
Well, the way I see it is that, you've got a good coach when he can arrest momentum, right? With positional moves where he can lift the side just by Hardwick, because that was Hardwick's strength. Everyone's followed Richmond games, even in Hardwick's prime years, we would tend to start slow or would have a bad second quarter. And then he'll get in their ear and then they'll just spike right up and end up winning the game. I finally saw that with Adam. That means, I had no doubt that the team brought into him, right? But for him to be able to turn over that seriously underperforming side and get him to play to their level, which, let's be honest, if we had a kick straight, we would have won the game by 6 goals. So, Carlton had a few easy misses, but we were dominating across every KPI, other than contested, the stoppage contested ball. But we had a plan to counter-attack that, and we were ripping into them. So I was really pleased with Adam. I reckon he had a really great I just want to see it again against Gold Coast. I'm not talking about he has to win the game, but I just want to see that standard we've shown stay. And then obviously as we develop, it'll stay for longer periods. But we just can't drop the ball and only score 2 goals for a game like we did the last time we played them. We've got
it's going to be interesting because obviously the Suns are a much more well-oiled machine than what the Blues are. So it will be interesting to see a couple of things. If the system holds up against a better side and to what level it holds up to, and just how we sort of navigate that. But it was pleasing to keep Carlton to a goal for half of football. I don't care how perceivingly bad an opposition team is, to keep them to a goal and a half, I thought was a really positive sign.
Oh,
because for me, it meant that to me was the indicator the midfield started working harder both ways. The defenders we know the defense is going to be pretty rock solid for the most part, but to then see the team defense come into play to really stifle them, and to actually see prolonged periods where we locked the ball in our front half, which we didn't see a lot of last year. We didn't get the reward we probably needed, but it was good to see those two things happen throughout the course of the game in the second half.
Well, to generate over 60 inside 50s, you normally, I think it's something crazy like 96% you win the game. So
it'd be about that.
Yeah, and Carlton were doing the Carltoners, trying to play it safe, and they were flooding up in the back when they realised they were getting out of control from them. And even when they went full offence, we still contained them. So that's a sign of a really good side. Our ball movement, our transitional ball movement is now starting to get on point, which is great. And that comes with continuity with the because their back line is quite solid. I think it took Bolter a little bit to get into the game.
He was good.
When he did, he looked really good. The first quarter, he was a bit squatchy. I think they realised their matchup of Miller on what's that? What's that tall bloke? Mackay wasn't the right matchup, so they ended up rolling Bolter on him. And then when he basically got on him, he essentially curtailed him whenever he got up the ground.
He did. He was really good on Big Harry.
Yeah, he was good. Look, we'll get some brain fades. We showed that, but Jesus, we've got a couple of good. Lawler played the game that it looks like he's going to get better this year, which you'd expect. But how exciting is it? Grill was everything we wanted him to be.
It was a good debut, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Mate, I was just smiling. That's why I'm not upset about the $100. It was worth it. He played how. I love this passage of the play. I don't know if you guys. It was in the third quarter. Carlton were pressing. They were trying to win the game back, and he decided to go for a dash. He said, "No, this ball's mine." And he's in the center on the wing, but near the center square. And a Carlton player went to tackle him, and he's put the "don't argue" out. And he
Jagger Smith went to tackle him.
And you can lip read him going, F off. Leave me alone. This is what I'm going to do. And that for me, he already had my heart, but he's now become my one of my favourite players that, I'm going to ride all the way through his career. It was just so typical angry Richmond that I love to see it.
Yeah, and what I love about him already is he wants the ball in his hand. He wants the moment. And he's 90% disposal efficiency. And look, that's not going to happen every week. I think we all know that. But if it happens more often than not, that's going to be a great thing to see. But like we sort of talked about last night, and like I've said for a little while, it's his willingness to take the game on and change angles with his running. In the bit of play where they showed the vision from behind the goals, where he chipped it across the back line to Banks, it might have been, then got the handball receive and then sort of took off. His running pattern shifted the entire Carlton zone up the ground to one side, and then he changed angle to come back to the other side and hit Rolfs was on the wing. And that was the bit of play where Lawler got the goal from the blind turn. Yeah. And just the way that he will just trick other teams is the simplest way to put it, into moving one way, but then he'll go the other. It's exciting. And look, I know he's young and there'll no doubt be some inconsistencies along the way, but if this is the worst version we're going to see of him, it's going to be pretty exciting.
He's what they call their unicorns in footy. They're the 120-metre player, right? He generally, anything he touches, he gets 90 metres, 120 metres worth of play out of him. But what I like about him too is he's just scratching the ceiling of his skill set. As he starts building that confidence, I could start seeing him, going for the dangerous kick. and hitting it probably in 7 times out of 10, that actually will allow us to, transition the football quicker and actually score. So, and he's got the body shape. He's going to be a big boy. He's not going to be a little weed running around. He's got that body shape. Looks like he will put on weight.
Hopefully not too much, because I like how nimble is. Like, he's not getting out-muscled by bigger guys.
No, but what I mean is his core strength. He looks like he's got a really strong core, and I can see that getting stronger. But, yeah, like I mentioned, we've got Cummings to come into that side, Houghton to come into that side, Smiley when he gets right. And it was, I don't know if you guys, I don't listen to the radio much because I can't put up with the audio, but I did happen to get on the radio late this afternoon, and they had Jagger Smith on, which is his great mates with Smiley. They're, like best mates.
Yeah,
and he said, no, he goes, Smiley, he goes, obviously he's not having a good run now, but this guy's an absolute freak.
Did he? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, hearing that from another player, just basically wait till he gets on. When he gets on, you watch him just go bang when he gets on. So we've got a lot to look forward to.
We do, and I'm looking forward to seeing Smiley out there at some point, whenever that may be. And I have heard from a few people close to the club that they're still very excited about what he's going to bring. So to have Jagger say that too is
it's great
as well. What did you make of James Trezis's game? He's one that's, I think, I don't want to say fall under the radar, but if you would look purely at numbers, it didn't jump off the page. But if the eye test and the work rate that he had late in the game, I thought was a really mature performance in some facets.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Look, the problem we've got, let's be honest, we've got a bloke in our centre square that hack kicks every single. I don't know why he's doing it, because he's even on a set shot, he'll try to go to hack kick it. He's Taranto. That's his MO. He gets it, doesn't even look where he's kicking it, just knows the general direction he kicks it, and he will hack kick it. What I like with Trezis's game, he sort of balanced that out a little bit. He distributed the ball quite well. He got into he defended. He was our defensive midfielder for most of the night. That's how it looked to my eye. And he did a really good job. Like where he needs to, like Jagger Smith when he was getting off the chain, because Hopper just, I don't know what we were thinking putting Hopper on Jagger Smith. Jagger Smith was just running off him like easy.
He's quick.
Oh, yeah. But why would you put the slowest bloke on the ground that obviously he's either injured, just wants to retire? He looked to me like a player that was just playing at round 22 and was going to retire in a couple of weeks. I don't know, disrespect to Hopper. I hate talking like this, but that's why he's not in my side for this week. A little bit of a preview. He needs either to get physically fit, because the game's gotten quicker, not slower. Contested balls are going to start to be, if the game keeps on going this basketball fashion, are going to be obsolete. You've got to have something. And
it's interesting.
I worry. Yeah, I worry for him.
He was the fittest he'd been last year, and it showed, because he was really influential in a lot of games. And look, I know it's only round one, and I think
it's only round one. Yeah,
I think we're going to see a bit more of him. But it was the way the game's played. It was a little bit concerning with the player types that we have going through the same part of the ground. It almost added more weight to, like, the headache when Dion Prestea comes back, who is obviously a lovely footballer, but it doesn't lend itself to how do we fit them all in and how do we make it work. The way the game's being played, I'm not sure it will work, but I do think that Hopper has a few runs on the board from last year in particular.
100%.
They'll give him the benefit to see how it pans out, but we need to see improvement for sure.
See, the thing you sort of, the standards you ignore are the standards you accept, right? And that's why if I was Adam Hughes, I'd be having a really good sit down with Taranto and say, mate, this hack kicking has got to go. He even does it when he's under pressure. And what worries me, it's not just Taranto's doing it, but McAuliffe, who obviously looks at this leader and he's going, I want to be like Taranto, which is a great role model. He was hack kicking it.
He didn't have a good game kicking.
No, he kept on hack kicking it. And for me, I know I don't want to give McAuliffe an out, but he's a young kid. I don't blame him. If he's seeing his leader getting away with it, hack kicking it at every opportunity, he's going to follow suit. That's why it's my worry. And so the reason I'm saying that is with Hopper, he had a non-effectual game. Even when everyone lifted, he was out of the game. He couldn't even force himself.
By contrast, Taranto really lifted in that second half and was like smashing through packs and driving the ball forward, which was really influential and helpful.
Exactly. So what I would sit down with Hopper and say, look, mate, and it's not his fault that he's on this ridiculously long-term, huge dollar contract, right? You know, if I got offered a contract for silly money, I'd take it as well, right? As I know it was more of a cap dump, but at the end of the day, if you're getting paid that coin, that's why I'm not disagreeing with people saying, oh, he was great last year. Oh, he was okay last year. You know, he's got runs on the board. But hold on, he's getting paid $1 million a season at the moment, 900,000 to $1 million, I think it is. He's got 3 more years, I believe, on his contract. We need more output. That output's not acceptable. And while we've got kids, we are so young. I reckon we're at the stage of our development now where we need to set an example. I'm not saying crucify Hopper. I'm not saying I don't want Hopper back in the side. I'm not saying he can't give us value in the side, but get Hopper right. Something's not right with him. What I saw on round 1.
What if it's a niggle or something he's carrying?
Yeah, well, there's been no reported injury.
No, there hasn't. I should be a little bit disappointed if we carried someone with a niggle into round 1 as well.
Yeah, and I looked at the preseason, kept real focused attention on him. No, he has just not been. I don't know. There's something going on. So I would say to him, all right, you're not playing VFL, you're not playing AFL. If it's a mental thing or if it's a love thing or whatever it is, get right. And then you come back into the side. Because we've got Prestea too. They're saying they might want to put him back in, right?
Yeah, well, he'll be close very, very shortly.
Yeah,
whether
he nearly
it's
got
this
him on
week,
team,
week.
Prestea. Yeah, he nearly got him on team because I love his IQ, but I rated that he probably won't get in today. This weekend.
Before we go to the Gold Coast game, I want to get your thoughts on Steely Green's game as well. 2 goals. Yeah, I think he surprised a lot of people in a positive way.
Not me. No, not me. That's why I picked him. The thing with Steely Green is where he's at. He's a 5-minute quarter player. Right, that's what he is at the moment as a forward. But he's our truest crumbing forward that we have. For a pure crumbing forward, he can read the drop of the ball nearly better than most of the younger forwards that we've got. The problem is in his game, he doesn't get to the drop of the ball often enough, right? So, and he's also one of our best defensive mids. There was a play that he was on our half-back flank, and he managed to win the ball back and then fed it out, and we end up getting another inside 50 due to it. So, for me, he's always reminded me of, and from all reports from what I've been told, he's got a really strong work ethic. He's building up his tank. He's like Lambert was our defensive high half forward. I could see Green developing into that role. So, and you need that type of player. So that's why I wanted him in the side. His numbers would never look good, but hey, Daniel Rioli's numbers never look good. George's Castagna never look good, sub-10s. But what they do in relation to the pressure that they apply and the defensive setups that they have, it's worth more than 10 disposals, you know. So that's why I put him in. And he showed it. He did that really good crumbing goal, and I think I tweeted, finally a pure crumbing goal.
He's in a good spot.
And he's got a bit of X factor about him too. He can pull it out of his ass and kick the amazing when he's there. He's got good hands. So he's something to persist with.
What was good as well, though, and I think this is maybe where, and this wasn't his fault last year, but where the downfall was for our small forwards last year in totality was the fact that our bigs weren't bringing the ball to ground last year. We were just getting outmarked. We were kicking it straight to the opposition, and we eliminated what our small forwards could do. And that was probably frustrating to see from a supporter's point of view, probably frustrating from a player's point of view. But then to see Jonty and Harry Armstrong and Lynch bringing the ball to ground, their fair share, and bringing our small forwards into the game, it does give players like Steely Green, Ryan Mansell bobs up and kicks 2 as well. It gets them sort of into the contest. But you talk about the low possession, high impact type of game. I feel that Maurice Rioli is in that same boat. I thought his pressure was big in the second half, and he pressures in a way that I don't think any of our other players can. But I suppose there's an element of talk from supporters. They want to see more disposal, more goals.
No.
I can understand why. I'm not sure I fully believe that it's essential at this stage. It will get to that stage, but not right now.
I think Uso's using him the right way so far this year. They realise he likes to run up the ground because that's what he seems. He loves to starts at the forward pocket, but he goes to where he feels like he can impact most in relation to his tackling pressure. I think he thrives off that. And they're giving him a bit of a license to do so, particularly when we're getting overrun. He was the one running around trying to do the late tackle. And then he just built on that. He will start to score goals. As I reckon we get stronger in the midfield, he's going to realise Adam's going to realise we're not going to need that coverage. So, as we get, Hottenback and Smiley and Cummings and they start getting gains and working together as, a 4 or 5 man unit, then he'll default back into the more, chase, tackle, pure defensive pressure mid forward. But at the moment, he's playing to what the team needs. And look, I couldn't believe he didn't get a free kick for being legged. Like, it was some of the umpiring decisions. I'll shut up about it. But he didn't drop his head. I tweeted. I said, well, it was great. He clearly got legged in the middle of the ground. The ball spills out. He doesn't get a free kick. But he doesn't worry about that. He gets up and goes at the ball again and then gets it again. Right? And then drives
Which is what
forward.
You want. Just get on with the next contest and make an impact there, which was good. This is an interesting question from Brad. Do you believe that we're still focused on kicking it to Lynch too much, or do we? So Lynch obviously got double teamed a couple of times, and I often think that when that happens, have we missed an opportunity elsewhere to hit up one of the other forwards, or did the opposition just read it really well and we were penned into one side of the ground? I'm not sure. There might be reasons why. Look, we did go to Lynch a lot, I felt, but at the same time, he was also probably the most dominant forward on the ground, so it probably felt like an easy option. What did you think about the mix between Lynch, Armstrong, Fall, and how that all kind of worked? Because that may have been the first time they've all played together. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It couldn't have been too many times if they have.
No, not too many times, I would think.
Yeah.
Look, in relation to Lynch himself, first of all, this guy gets umpired differently from any other forward, right? It amazes me that in this professional competition, we reward the instigator and we penalise the retaliator. So he was getting punched in the back of the head, getting these jumping things. Dean, like that reversal, if you look at a couple of seconds before it actually happened, you see Dean grabbing him by the throat and slamming him his double fist. And then Lynch does the same thing, but Lynch is the one that gets pinged. So I feel for Lynch. I don't want him to change his game, though he's got to improve, some of his stupid actions. But what I think in the first half really was, it's now proved to me that we've got a forward coach. I reckon our 2 young kids just got lost in the occasion, right? They went away from probably their own game. They went more into thinking what they needed to be doing and got sucked into Carlton's defensive setup. So Wittering, drew Jonty out and allowed their defenders to triple, and Lawler did the same thing with Armstrong. And it allowed the other defenders to triple team Lynch at every contest. And what was really pleasing to see at halftime, they've gotten into their ear and Jonty streaming up the ground, Armstrong streaming up the ground and doing what I was hoping we would do, leaving Lynch alone deep. So that allowed,
because in that second half, the reason why Lynch took 6 marks inside 50 is because he was able to lead up into a little bit of space and were able to deliver it. It wasn't just a crowded kick. So
that's right.
I think I said last night that I probably didn't have maybe the level of appreciation for what Jonty and Harry did in the second half being there live than when I did when I watched it when I got home. Like, I did notice a lot more bringing the ball to ground, crashing packs and things like that. So that's the bare minimum of what you want to see. Just the biggest letdown was that they both missed some shots they should have kicked. And it's hard because they did the same thing last year. So you don't want to keep excusing it. But hopefully they learn from it is all we can hope for.
Look, for me, Jonty plays how I want a big forward, an angry forward to play. But he reminds me a lot of Lynch, right? They're different tools, but he has that Lynchy, I'm angry. And when he's angry, he plays his best football. He's just got to learn how to channel it. Like, that gut punch was just stupid. I get why he did it. And I get why our coaches would say not be too upset with him, because he was copying it. He was getting Wittering, to his credit, was getting away with little sniper punches in the kidneys, in the ribs, back of the legs. Dean, good on him as a young kid, but he's going to get woken up soon. He got away with so much illegal shit against Lynch that was staggering. And then you got the AFL media slobbering over it. Why? Because everyone likes to turn Lynch into a thug, right? And it really just does me gears. But that's not what we're talking about. But with Armstrong, Armstrong, he showed in the last half why we picked him, right? He's got, when he gets that frame and he gets that big frame, those marks, he's going to start doing a lot
strong
more.
Strong hands.
Yeah, Jonty as well. He's got a great hand. They've got to work on their kicking though. That's the thing. You don't want to be getting really good forwards that can't kick a goal, right? But I'm sure they're working on it. But getting up the ground, getting that confidence, they're baby steps into their career. Forwards of that side don't really become consistent after about 120 games, 110 games. They really start to. Yeah,
I compare them not directly, but I look to what Aaron Cadman's done and his breakout and what they're going to get to in a year or two.
So about 2 more years, 3 more years in them. But for what they're showing at such an early age is really encouraging. And look, it's the mistakes like the Armstrong mistake. He'll learn from that. Sometimes, it costs us. One of the things that cost us the game, our goal kicking cost us the game, and those misses would have hurt them, but they'll learn from it. And that's probably worth more than actually winning the game, funny enough.
Maybe down the road.
Yeah, down the road.
Quite possibly. All right, well, we do have the Gold Coast this week, and we have both had a crack at picking our starting sides for this weekend. You've gone a lot heavier in the changes than I have, and this is interesting. So I'm going to bring your one up first.
All right.
This is your predicted team. Let's go through. So the outs you've got. So Jonty Ford, we know is out with suspension. Mansell, we know is out with the wrist injury, unfortunately. And then you've also got Hopper, McAuliffe, and Ralph Smith out. Yeah,
and I'll explain why. Hugo, for me, what he showed me on the preseason in that game, I believe we've got stronger tools to bring in. So that's the reason why I put him out. He needs to dominate the game. I love that he's got a haircut. And some of his disposal was okay, but a lot of it was the high ball. Just kick it high and long. He needs to be a damaging winger. So, let's train him a bit. Let's give him new instruction in the VFL. So that's why I took him out. For me, McAuliffe, too many hack kicks. I want to give him a little bit of retraining. So I'd be saying, look, you're out because your disposal, you're doing hack kicks. You're better than this. Go on the VFL and show us you're better than this because we believe in you. See how he goes. Hopper, I've said why I've dropped him. We've got to get more output for the position that he plays. It was good to see that we didn't just drop him in the guts with Taranto all the time on the week, particularly when we were getting dominated. They started together, but then they separated through. Hopper is too out of form. So I went Sonsi. Why? He was an emergency last week. He played the VFL. He did his role. So I want to reward that.
I don't think he played VFL because it was the same day.
He didn't play?
No, he's the carryover player.
Okay. Yeah. So, there you go. He was the carryover player. So I want to reward him. He's based on his preseason. So I brought him in the interchange. Luke Traynor for me is too good. Again, he was an emergency last week. I need to get this kid in the side. So what I did, Vlosten obviously is a no-brainer, has to go in. I liked how the backs were last week. So, I didn't want to change that mix so much. So I've got Vlosten in. Brown, for me, is too good to be in the VFL. So, for me, he was my Hopper. Right, get Hopper out, put Brown in. Brown can play ring. He did that as a junior. He's got a beautiful kick. We all seen his run and chase. He'll add more pressure. He's got a good tank. So I put Brown in. LaFou, look, he's going to help straighten us up. LaFou will straighten us up. He'll give us more than Jonty. Jonty's where he's at his career in the short term. I want him to repay the face, so I brought him in. And that was my thought process. Other than that, I wanted to see more of Gray. I think Gray did good things, flashes of good things. And Toby needs that relief.
He does.
I want to give True Slice another run, see how he goes. Jack Ross, if it wasn't for his last half, he would have been out for me.
He had a good last half, though.
His last half for me, same thing with Short.
Well, probably before, really, our first half as a collective wasn't that great. So
no. Well, I disagree. I think the first half, who let us down was all of our leaders, bar Nank, and Nank just was fighting on his alone wall. That's how I saw it. And then as he started getting help, our leaders started stepping up. Everyone, so that's why Taranto's still on the side. See, for me, my thought process this year is don't accept below standards. And hopefully I think the club is doing that. We're all in. So, but if you go away from the game plan, you're out. And I want that hard edge, to be honest. That's why I did the 5 changes.
I don't mind Brown as an idea on the wing. I tend to if we are looking at a comparison between how he uses the ball typically to what Hugo and McAuliffe did, I think it's in that part of the game, it's a really nice upgrade. And I think it does give him a chance to maybe get some more disposals and actually utilize his kicking a little bit more. I'm not sure I don't know whether we'll actively see it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't at some point, because I think he's got something more to offer a bit further up the ground, which could help us out up forward too.
See, for me, I'm not a big exponent on the 3 tall forward line, right? I've never liked it. But we generated 66 inside 50s. We're playing, we're playing Gold Coast. If our midfield and back line goes with the same running, chase, pressure, break the lines, they'll get that ball in. If we can get it in 40, 50 times as a bare minimum, their back line isn't that tall. So it might play into our hands a little bit. We can stretch them out. And that's the reason why LeFou for me. Lafau, I did it again, didn't I? Armstrong and Lafau. Armstrong showed he can motor up the ground. So I'd be saying the same thing. You two boys motor up. We've got Lafau that can ruck in the forward line. So I don't like Lynch doing it. Get Lafau to do it. And we'll see how we go. But it's
how do you think it would go with Campbell Gray in there as well as McKelty Lafau?
Well, see, Gray for me will be in the bench. Gray's going to come into the ground when we need a ruck to have a rest. That's so you want. Okay, so you want Lafau in primarily as a forward, not so much the relief ruck. That's right. Yeah, he's
for Jonty.
That's right. Exactly. Okay. But with the license to, with the license to, he's rucking his number 1 in the forward line, so we can preserve Lynch. Yeah, as long Nankervis for as long as we can. And look, if we bring the pressure we brought. We bring in the second half and we bring that for the game, we're in with a shot. Like, put it this way. Our first game against them last year, we beat them, right? Which is a shock to everyone, shock to most of us. The second game in August when they played us, they absolutely humbled us and we could not kick a goal. I think we kicked 2 goals the entire game.
We got slaughtered that game.
Got slaughtered, but we kept on kicking points because it all got in our head and the pressure and all that sort of stuff. But we've got Tom Lynch, and Tom Lynch straightens us up. That's why we were so desperate to get him in last year. And when he's in, and when he's in and fit, he's a talisman for us. So get him in deep, get these 2 marking targets up the ground, and allow our smalls to get to work. Mansell for us is the biggest loss.
Yeah,
he's because he's an accurate shot at goal, and he's underrated.
That boundary line shot he kicked was quite impressive. I was a little bit concerned that we were passing to someone on the boundary, but that was an impressive shot.
Yeah.
And just his aggression, his energy up forward as well, I think will be missed. It was, really disappointing to hear of that wrist injury.
So it's going to be, that's why Brown for me, is going to be so important for us. He's going to be hungry to show and stay in the side. Vlosten's Vlosten. Yeah, so I'm actually quite bullish. Sonzi was the question mark, but I thought, you know what? What killed us last week was ball use. I've injected ball use.
Well, yeah, and that's I can see the argument for it. I know that 5 changes isn't necessarily something that would usually happen after a 4-point loss, but there's rationale behind. I mean, Vlosten's automatic. Lafau, we think, is going to be automatic. And then it's just, are we upgrading another 2 or 3 spots to get some better output? And that's just what all the equation is, pretty much.
That's it. Yeah, and like RFC Centre said, really, he's coming to replace Hugo for me, and I don't really think Sonzi's a downgrade from Hugo. Right, worst case, they're going to be like for like. Just Sonzi can kick the ball better.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. I tend to place a higher value on on skill output as well.
So do I. So
and Tom Brown's the same. Wonderful kick at the ball, just doesn't get it enough to put it on full display.
And he's a penetrating kick. He's a penetrating kick. So we've now starting to develop. We've kept this line in. Grill, penetrating, low ball, quality kick. Brown can do it. Short can do it. We've got Seth Campbell can do it. Steely Green's good. Is a good midfield kick. We're starting to develop these. I just don't want to see hack kickers in the side. I don't care if we lose 10 goals, but kick with intent. Not this hack kicking. You only can carry one, and the one we're carrying is Tim Taranto.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah. That's fair enough. My team for this week, I've got 3 changes. I've got Fall and Mansell out, which are that has to happen. And I've got Campbell Gray out as well. Now, Campbell Gray didn't do anything wrong. I've maybe just reevaluated how we could line up on the back of us only using him for 32%, because I didn't know that was going to be how long we're going to use him for. But Vlosten comes in, no brainer. I've got McKelty Lafau coming in, and I would still have him obviously doing the backup rucking. But then I've to go with Zane Piker as an extra bit of zip and X factor to kind of try and compensate for Mansell, because he kicked 2 goals in the VFL last week. He actually looked really good at the week before as well, or the 2 weeks prior at Casey. Just reads the ball. He's talking about Steely Green and reading the ball well off the pack. Piker's probably up there as well, as is Jasper Alger, but he copped a big knock in the game. So that's the only reason why I didn't go Jasper. But Zane Piker's zippy. He's got tremendous goal sense. I know he's young. I don't care, though. If the kid can play and add some X factor, and if we're going to use him for 30 to 40% game time like we did for Campbell Gray, it could be a good little injection of pace up the front half of the ground. So I would use him in the same way we used Campbell Gray, but just in the front half of the ground or as a higher midfielder in general play. And then let McKelty do the ruck work. So we drop one of the talls and bring in an extra runner and a bit of extra zip up forward. But yeah, that's how I would have a look at it. But look, realistically, in my heart of hearts, I don't think they'll debut Zane Piker. It's a big ask against Gold Coast, but also wouldn't be mad if they did, if they reward his form. And I do low-key think that the club are really, really bullish on Zane Piker and what he can do long-term. Yeah. It's going to be a matter of time before he gets his crack.
No, I'm not upset with it. So you're just giving Hopper another crack?
I think so. I think he's got runs on the board. Look, honestly, it does concern me with how quick Gold Coast midfield are. Yeah. We have to be very, very careful about the blend of what we put out on the park at any one given time. And that's something we'll have to have learnt from last week. But they've also got a lot of big bulls as well. I know Rao's not into that. That does help. But I'm prepared to give him another crack, because I think maybe that was just an aberration, just a game he just had to get out of the system. And I'm prepared to see how it looks for another week. But we do need to see some change and a shift from what we saw last week. Absolutely.
How did you think Gibbs went on the? I was wrapped. I was wrapped with what I saw with Gibbo. I was stoked.
Yeah. I still don't know whether last week was the right matchup for him game-wise. It worked well when Mitch McGovern was forward. I was a little bit disappointed that he got out-bodied by Zach Williams late and he kicked that goal to sort of put him back in front. But I'm really proud and pumped for him to be out on the field and getting the game time and exposure, because that's a really big thing for him. Obviously got the 3-year extension today as well, so congratulations, Josh Gibbs, for that too. But he did some okay things. I think he's still very much low on confidence or in his body, and that's totally understandable. Totally understandable. And he's only going to get better with the more game time, so I do definitely acknowledge that. But there's just a lot of fit and healthy plays in our back line, so it's a really interesting part of the ground.
What I liked about it, he made a few mistakes, like for the one with the Williams one, he got in the wrong position. So to allow Williams to outbody him, but he just slotted in. He didn't look like a bloke that missed so much football. Like, he just slotted in pretty quickly. Yeah, he was rusty, but he was at the level with those around him. And picture him in 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, if he gets continuing plays consecutive games. Continue. Sorry, it's that fucking head. He's going to just be a treat. His hands, he hasn't lost all his agility, which is great to see.
He's definitely trimmed down compared to last year too. So he's definitely moving a lot better than what he was in that last game against Geelong.
Yeah, he was.
Now, the name that neither of us have put on our team sheet this week is Dion Prestea. And the only reason why I didn't is because I think it might have been last week, it was strongly hinted, I guess, that he was going to maybe come through the VFL first. It didn't suggest that as strongly this week in the injury report, I must admit. I don't know where that's going to land. So let's all play hypothetical in chat, and you as well, Tiggs. If Prestea he's fit and available, if we are going to pick him for the AFL side, how does that work with Hopper, Taranto, Ross? Because we all saw firsthand that it didn't work last year. Yeah, and I'd be bitterly disappointed if we went back to doing that. I think they can all play in the same side, but just not in the same part of the ground. But if Prestea was playing or available for AFL selection, is he an auto inclusion? How does that change things for us?
All right. How I'll answer it is this. You know how much I love Prestea, right? My meatball. I said we needed a high IQ midfielder. Now we're getting Lawler playing midfield, and he's showing what he can do. We can't have Hopper, Taranto, and Prestea in that same centre square. We just cannot. They're not fast enough. So for me, I would only play Prestea if we've got injuries, particularly to the young midfield group, which we have at this stage. But like, for example, I could have put, if Prestea, if I believed he was going to play, I probably would have put Prestea in for, I would have kept Brown in. LeFou would stay in. Vloster would stay in. But then with the other two, I probably would go, okay, Prestea's in on the interchange and just inject him where we need him. If we feel like we need a bit of, because if we need that IQ, we're getting dominated in the centre and you need to stabilise it, Hopper's out for a rest on the interchange, that's when you inject him to the game. That's how I would use him. He's basically our interchange, high-quality interchange, and that's how he gets used.
I know I'm probably getting a little bit caught up on the 32% game time as something to base a theory off, but it's all I've got to go off. Yeah. If we're still going off that 32 to, let's call it 45% game time, I know EJ and CB did flag a little while ago that Prestea could be that fifth interchange spot that just comes in for spurts in the midfield, takes a few centre bounces, does his thing, high impact, and then ducks off the ground again. It's interesting. And I think not just us, but all clubs will still be trying to find the right way to use that fifth spot it could take the whole season. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry, it's my brain. I know it's LeFou, but I get caught in between.
Tiggs is a big Red Foo fan from LMFAO. That's
I am. Thank you for the backup. It's LeFou. But look, that's how I would play him as our fifth interchange. He rarely will be like, if I really know we needed to start well, we needed to, like, for example, if he was going to play this week, let's hope he does. But if he was, I would not be upset to have him in the centre square and Taranto probably at high half forward. And that's how we got to start to do it. And we showed patches of that on the weekend against Carlton. We put Taranto in the forward line, like I've been screaming, and he actually looked good. But can we talk about Lawler?
Yeah.
Some of his special, like that blind turn and goal out of a contested situation was, dare we say it, was dusty like. That was, for what he's showing just in his second year, considering the amount of football he's lost, it's insane. We've got a Monty
here. It's getting more increasingly difficult not to draw the comparisons to the great man, but he does look really good, doesn't he? It's an exciting time to have him in our midfield. It was really good to see him get some more midfield minutes as well. But at the same time, he looked really good going forward too. So now just quickly,
go ahead.
For those, I'm just getting people preamp for this. I've just posted in the chat the link for you to go into the green room if you want the chance to win a $99 Richmond membership based on a wheel spin. It's going to be like Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be rapid fire. We're just going to roll through people as they come in, so it's not sort of hanging around to chat. It's just you're on, spin the wheel next. So if you want the chance to win a $99 Richmond membership, I have pinned the link for the green room for the chat. and I'll bring up the spinning wheel shortly, and we're going to give away a $99 Richmond membership. So a massive thanks to We Get Pumped on Big Footy for the membership as well. So make sure, jump in the green room, and we'll come to you very, very shortly. Go on, Diggs.
Yeah, no, one other thing that really pleased me about the game was the kids enjoyed it. You could see they were enjoying their footy. Everyone, even when we lost, they didn't drop their heads. We've got the bones of a really good side. And what's good, it looks like the media is starting to cotton onto it. What's his name? Hoy or whatever he is from SEN said, their stats guru, said Richmond's in the top 6 and has been since the last 10 weeks. So factoring the last 6 games of last year. We're rated, I think, in the top 4 or top 5 of forward half game in the competition. And that's one of the hardest stats to get. What we've got to improve on is our shape behind the ball, which we all know that. It all comes down to our midfield once that mix is right. Yep. When that clicks, that's when we play finals.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. Travis, the green room, it's just the backstage area for the live studio. That's all. So you kind of, people will appear down the bottom that we can sort of bring in and out of the studio. While we let people jump into the green room to have their chance to spin the wheel to win the membership, make sure you jump on board. You've got to be in it to win it.
That's right.
Did you want to talk about trade ever so quickly, if there's been any updates there?
Yeah, well, we spoke about it before the show. Corroborating what we both heard, and we both said the same name. So, from Gold Coast, Humphrey, yeah. Oh God, Humphrey big bets. Just if you've got a head injury, it's weird. Like I'm getting better. Like I'm a lot better than what I was. So I'm not having a sulk. But what happens is sometimes my brain, like Humphrey, right? My brain, what it does in my head, shows me Humphrey's big bear, right? Just that's what I'm seeing, right? So my mouth wants to say, Humphrey big bear. Like, and I know I don't want to say that, and that's what stops me. It's weird. It's going to get better with time. I'm doing all the rehab. I've got rehab tomorrow with it, but I'm good enough. Like I'm a lot better. I'm not stuttering now, and I'm not.
No.
I'm not doing that. My cognitive thing is a little bit still shaky, but. I'm still not sleeping and all that sort of stuff. But I'm a lot better than what I was. So
so Bailey Humphrey was one that I
Humphrey,
heard. No, and this again, not at all saying that he's a lock to come here by any stretch, but just that we're showing some interest, as we should be, and as all other clubs will be. It was obviously very well documented. He tried to leave Gold Coast in the off season just gone, but I would be a little bit disappointed if we weren't doing that. So. Do we need to Bailey Humphrey? Hey, if you can have 2 Dusty types, why not? Why not? I reckon.
We do. Yeah, we do. You know what? One of the biggest things they were saying on the weekend on the TV, because obviously I can't go to games because of the noise. I bet you they wish they had 2 Lawlers. If they had 2 Lawlers, one at the centre and one at the front. Well, that helps. So I'm not saying he's Lawler's level. I don't think he is, but he's a good quality player. Put him in the forward or the midfield, and that's our combo for the next 8 years.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
It can happen.
And we got, and I got, good bit of, it's going to stay on trade just for a second.
Yeah.
I had a really good check. You're the only living person that I've ever told the source that I get in relation to what I'm going to say next. So you'll know it's genuine, right? This has been verified. But we've got stupid amount of money. We could offer this bloke 1.2 million a year for 5 years as a salary dump, and still have room to re-sign all of our guns. That's where we're at. That's how we're set up. That's how great Blair is. We're set up with our TPP. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Well, there's a little bit to look forward to there. We'll maybe touch a bit more on that next week, but very, very exciting to see what happens throughout the course of the year. But it's time to give away a $99 Richmond membership. I think it's a home game membership. Again, shout out to We Get Pumped from Big Footy, who kindly donated 5 Richmond memberships. He wanted to pay it forward as he was helped out in a time of need a few years ago. And this was his way to sort of say thanks and give back, which is really, really awesome. So it's pretty simple. We've got a wheel spin up here. There's 1 tile here with winner. So if you land on that, obviously you win it. You've got a spin again option. Next contestant or next player means you just get booted. and there's a Tiger trivia one. So if you land on Tiger trivia, I will ask you a Richmond-based question. If you get the answer right, you get another spin. If you get it wrong, see you later. And
can they dial a friend? Like, can they ask me for a hint?
No, we're rapid fire. There's not going to be too much talking and niceties. We've got to get in, get out, and get it done. Like the Triple M radio quiz, which is always a good laugh. First up, we've got Strauchy. Strauchy, welcome. I think you're on mute, but welcome.
You're on mute, mate.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good yourself?
Yeah, going well.
That's the way. That's the way. Now, before we spin, do you want these shuffled? Are you happy with the order it's in, or do you want a quick randomized shuffle?
I think I like it as it is. I reckon that's pretty good.
As it is. All right. All the best. Let's spin it. Let's try and get you a $99 membership. See how we go. Surely not.
Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, winner. Chicken dinner.
Amazing.
No way.
Thank your mother for the rabbits.
It's always good when it's something that you plan to do. It goes to plan a lot better than you expect. It's come up with the very first spin. Holy crap. Well, Shorty, congratulations. You have won a $99 membership courtesy.
Thanks, mate. That's awesome. Can't wait.
That is unbelievable that's panned out that way. Well, that's just the luck of the draw. That's just how the wheel works. Are you? It doesn't matter either way, but are you a member already?
Yeah, I actually am a full AFL member, but Richmond Club support, of course. So pretty exciting.
Very good. Well, congratulations. What I'll get you to do, I'll get you to hang around and I'll grab your details afterwards. Or if you have me on any of the socials, feel free, you can message me as well, or you can hang around and I can ask you off air, whatever works best for you. Yeah,
no worries. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
No dramas.
Congrats.
There we go. I'll pop you back to the green room. There we go. Well, that was apologies to everybody else in the green room. The prize has been won. It's just, I'm telling you, I tested that wheel about 5 times before, like during the day, and I was never able to spin it up first time.
But I told you, Michaels, you should have taken your medication for premature prize elation. That's the problem you got, mate. You went early. Again.
Unbelievable. That is, there we go. And as Fighting Fury said, shortest segment ever. That's good. Hey, everyone's a winner.
In and out.
It's nice to give away the membership to a Richmond supporter, and that's.
I've got a question for everyone. How did you cope during the game when we were making all those misses? How did you cope, Michaels? How did you cope, mate?
There was a little bit of punching my leg, just come on, we've got to be able to kick a goal. It was. Yeah, I mean, what do you do? It is what it is. But then when you sort of sat back and thought about it a little bit more, it's like, you know what? Even though we were missing all these shots from goal, the fact that we were generating those shots was like, you know what? If we do this most weeks, we'll be okay. We'll be
That's
okay.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
It was frustrating. But before we let you go, a few people breaking seats in front of them. What is your final tip, including margin, for the Gold Coast game?
Oh, okay. I want to preface this by saying I believe the Richmond of the second half is more truer to what the Richmond of 2026 is going to be. If it's the Richmond of the first half, we'll get done by frickin' 80 points, right? If it's the second half Richmond, I actually think it's here in Melbourne. We're playing on the shit ground though, aren't we?
No, at the G.
Oh, it's the G. Oh, it's at the G. You know what? I'm going to believe. I reckon there'd be a surprise on the cards. I reckon we've got, if we pressure, if we chase, if we tackle, we get in their heads. We know how hard we coaches. This is the thing with us. We know how hard we coaches.
Yeah.
So we know what their plan's basically going to be. They play like Richmond used to play.
They're very good,
large majorities. Yeah, they are very good. So he's got a Richmond team with a lot more talent, raw talent.
Petrarca as well is a genuinely scary prospect at the moment.
That's right. Yeah, look, stuff it. Richmond by 14.
I like it. It'd be nice. And you know what? If we turn up with the right attitude and the right intensity, stranger things have happened. So as long as we rock up and have a fair crack for 4 quarters, that is all we can ask for. As long as we show the same type of system and ball movement. No doubt we're playing a better opposition than Carlton, so we may not get it our way as often as we would like, for sure. But hopefully we can at least take it to them.
They don't travel too well. the Gold Coast.
Hopefully not. And they clearly took their foot off the throat on West Coast last week. They could have caused a lot more damage. So it will be interesting to see how we go in comparison, even though the margin's hard to gauge because they did take it easier on them. But I'm sure we'll give it our best shot. But Tiggs, thanks for jumping on tonight, mate. Appreciate your wisdom and words as always, and your team. Shorty, well done on winning. We'll grab your details very, very shortly. And thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. Make sure you get around the channel, like and subscribe. We are, I think, about 10 or so away from getting to 4,800 on the march to 5,000. Shout out to all the Tigercast members. Those who ordered hoodies in the first pre-order of hoodies, if you were going to be at the MCG on Saturday, I'll probably send an email out too. But if you're going to be at the G on Saturday and you ordered a hoodie previously, shoot me a message because I can bring it with me and hand it to you at the game if we want to meet up outside a gate, just to save some time, and it'd just be good to meet a few of you as well, to be honest, and say good day. So if you have ordered one in that first batch, shoot us a message if you're going to be at the G, and I'll bring it with me. But I'll send out an email as well. But have a wonderful night, everybody, and hopefully we have a good result. And until the next one, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.